streaming to you from my basement where I will be for the next little while I'm sure you guys are kind of stuck at home too. I want you to have some gymnastics to work on. So to make sure that you're ready for today, we have to prepare our area. So first we want to make sure we have an open wall with nothing on it, no picture frames or tables or lamps. And then preferred to have carpet beneath you. That is the preferred practice area. I wouldn't do it on a hard floor. I don't expect that you'll fall, but you always have to be aware that if you do, you kind of want to know what you're going to fall onto. So let's try to get into a nice soft area. Here's a good test. If you can go like this and not run into anything or anyone or any animals, then you're good. Okay, so make sure your area is clear, and then if you have these props, we will use a couple of props today. If you don't have them, that's okay. 2 hula hoops, 1 is fine if you have 1, or anything that is a circle. And I also have 2 yoga blocks that we'll use to kind of cushion the wrists. So again, you do not have to have these, but if you have them, go ahead and grab them. Okay, so if you're watching this, that means that you have been introduced to a handstand already, and now we are going to practice them so that you can stay up. So let's quickly get into our lunge position, and I will demonstrate from the side so you can kind of see how my back leg is straight and my front leg is bent, and my knee is right above my ankle. So let's do 5 seesaws. And if you just caught what I did there, I almost fell, so I used the wall to help me. So if you find yourself almost falling, just quickly use the wall. Push yourself back up to a regular stance, and no one might even notice. Okay, so those are our seesaws. Making sure that your front leg is straight in your handstand, or going into your handstand, is what I want to focus on now. So let's do some lever hops. So before you try it, let me show you one. Same process, lunge, T, put my hands down, and then I'm gonna hop, and then land back on that straight leg, and plant my back leg down on the ground. So this time, you're gonna do your lever hop, focusing on 2 things. First, right here, that this leg stays straight even when you're upside down, and then at the end, you transfer your weight to your back leg. So this is a really helpful tactic for floor, but also for beam. So if you want to kind of pretend that you're on a beam, focusing on getting your back leg down out of any skill that you land in a lunge, that's how you stay on the beam. And it's also how you keep from losing your balance. So take your time on this step. This, while it is not technically a full handstand with your feet together, you're still upside down, holding your weight by yourself. Your legs are just apart. So I care more about how long you can stay upside down without walking on your hands. Just totally upside down, find your center of gravity, and try to get stuck there. So I'm not gonna tell you how many to do, because I want you to do however many. Like if you're 8 years old, do 8 of them, at least. If you're 10, do 10. I am not gonna do that many. Well, I might, you never know. Okay, so show you one more time. Lunge, T, kick up and just try to stay up, back foot down. So no matter what happens in your handstand or your lever hop, you still have to land in your lunge, just like you started, okay? So this time I'm gonna see how long I can hold it. And remember, my front leg stays in front of me. Okay, that was like 6 seconds. Let me try that again. You can start to try on your own too. See if you can beat me. Okay, ready? Get into your lunge. Lunge, T, lever. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down. Woohoo! If I were 5 or 6, yes, that would have been great. Not my age, but keep practicing that, and that rule can apply for as long as you're doing handstands. So I want everybody to spend 2 or 3 minutes slowly going up into a handstand. I want you to do, however old you are, do that many lever hops, and I want you to either have somebody who's watching you count, or you can count out loud yourself, and see if you're getting better. And this is something that you can do every day, and you can measure yourself so you can actually tell if you're improving. So with that, I will try one more, and then I'm gonna let you practice. All right, so go ahead and get started. Practice your lever hops, and I wanna see if you can count to your age. All right, now that you have practiced your lever hops, let's go ahead and get into that handstand. First, before we kick up without using the wall, let's use the wall. So let's do a handstand facing the wall and facing away from the wall. Starting with your back up against the wall. You're gonna slide down, hands on the floor. Okay, now we're gonna slowly rock forward, and I'll show you from the side really fast. We're gonna rock forward, kind of straighten your legs a little bit and feel that weight on your hands, and rock back. Rock forward and rock back. Now let's turn it. We're gonna plant our hands on the ground, so go ahead and glue your hands down. Now, if you are really, really close to the wall, you're not gonna have room to get your feet up. So you need to, let's take 3 arm steps. 1, 2, 3. So you can always start with your arms farther apart, or I'm sorry, farther away from the wall, and then walk them in. So it's better to start too far away than too close. So you're gonna walk, try to get one leg all the way up to the top, then bring the other one swooping around, hold it and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're gonna come down and reverse. And one more time. One leg up, other leg up, one leg down, other leg down. All right, so go ahead and do that 3 times. Walk your feet up to the top of the wall and then back down without letting your hands come off of the ground. I'll do it with you. 1, 2, 3. We're stuck. One leg up, other leg up, one leg down, other leg down. If that's easy, try it with the other leg first. One leg up, other leg up, one leg down, other leg down. And continue practicing this. If you found both of those options too easy, let's make it a little press / jump. So we'll do a tuck sit like we did before. And as you lean forward onto your hands, instead of like putting one foot up and then meeting the other foot up there, we're gonna try to get both feet up at the same time. You have to go so slow for this skill. Think about what could happen if you just try it without thinking about it. So again, this is only if you found the first 2 things we did easy. Jump. Jump. Now this time I'm gonna try to touch the wall with my feet. And down. Okay, lean forward, jump, touch the wall, and then jump away, touch down. Now, let me tell you the biggest area that could be risky, or you could fall. If you jump too hard and you tuck your chin like this, you're gonna go jump and roll. So you need to know how to do a forward roll. So before you try that, do a forward roll. I don't want you to fall like that, but let's make sure that you can if you need to. So the way we start this handstand is conveniently the same way that you start a forward roll. Put your hands down, lean forward, and now tuck your chin, so look at your belly button, and roll. Okay, so go ahead and just warm up your forward roll, and then you can try to jump your feet up to the handstand. So let's try 5 times. Try to jump up, touch the wall, bring them back down together. 1, 2, 3. Jump up, jump down, jump up, jump down, jump up, woohoo, jump down. bend your knees. Up, down, up, down. Woohoo! Give yourself a round of applause. All right, so feel free to practice that as much as you want. Okay, now that we've covered our introduction to handstands, we're gonna go ahead and do them. We're gonna do freestanding handstands. So that means you're not gonna use the wall, you're just going to use yourself and not fall. So again, make sure that you have already progressed through the handstand introduction and Spider-Man handstands so that you're not getting into this a little bit too early. To reiterate one other safety rule, just make sure please that you are on carpet and that you go so slow, like you're underwater. Okay, when you're first learning, go as slow as you can because then you fall slowly if you do. You have to fall in gymnastics. It's literally impossible not to fall as you learn gymnastics. That's why gymnastics is hard and fun. So don't get disappointed if you fall. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and do some handstands. I have a hula hoop here. So I'm gonna use this hula hoop just to make sure that I'm doing the same thing in the same spot every time and I don't inch my way closer to a piece of furniture or to the wall. So to get started, we'll put our feet on the outside of the hula hoop and we do our lunge, T, kick up, tap, back to a lunge. Don't forget to pass to the T position. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and kick up, and my goal for you is that you can kick up and say 1 gymnastics, 2 gymnastics, 3 gymnastics down. 1 gymnastics, 2 gymnastics, 3 gymnastics down. Okay, so see how I'm going into it slowly and try to do that yourself. As you practice these, and I want you to go ahead and start practicing now, but I'm going to talk while you do, and I want you to think about some of the common mistakes that people make in handstands and see if you think you could be making any of them. So as you practice, just go ahead and listen while you practice. So mistake number 1, bent arms. Okay, you cannot hold yourself up with bent arms. Let me show you from this view. And I didn't even try to bend my legs, but I think they were, because if your body isn't tight all the way from your head to your toes, then it's loose. So it's easy for your legs to bend if your arms are also bent. So arms are straight, hiding your ears. Second, people kick up too fast. If I'm trying to get up into a handstand, I'm going to go as slow as I can so that I can find when I'm perfectly upside down and stay there, and I'm going to come down slow so that I don't fall. Okay, so go slow, and don't forget to stop in this T position on the way in and on the way out. So I kick up, tap, T, down. Okay. Second or third issue that we see is legs way too close together and one leg, typically the front leg, is straight. So when you're starting out, you have to actually be in this bent knee lunge. If you go into a handstand like this, it's going to do a lot of things, but what it really does is take your control away from you. You basically just fling your back leg up and then hope it goes well. Putting your legs farther apart gives you more control over your whole body. Okay, so making sure that your lunge is proper when you start, and then this is a big one, a big, big, big one. Sticking your head out like this. So parents, siblings, friends, if you're watching, look at the gymnast that you're with, and when they're upside down, tell them if you can see their ears. It'll look something like this, kind of like a banana. We don't want a banana, not in the handstand. It'll look like this. Okay, so that is an arching handstand that sometimes if you practice that long enough, that incorrect technique long enough, you might actually be able to stay upside down because you're so arched that your heels are almost over your head still, even though your whole body is like this. But that's incorrect form. That's not the right way to learn it because you really need the proper hollow body handstand for all of your tumbling skills moving forward. Okay, so see if you can see my ears. try to think of not sticking your head out, going really slow into your handstand, starting from the proper lunge, and making sure that your arms are completely straight. One last thing, this is a good one. Use your fingertips. These 10 fingers, all of them carry balance. Your pinky finger can save you from falling to the side in a handstand. So we'll talk about this more later, but once you're upside down, you shouldn't have all of your weight just jamming down onto your wrist. You use your fingers to cushion your handstand, cushion your wrists so that that doesn't really make your wrist sore. This is not scientific, but when I was a gymnast, we always did this when we were going upside down a lot. Shake them out, roll them out, side to side. Give yourself a break. But we're gonna Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to kind of switch gears and move into our cartwheels. So, for this, if you have a hula hoop, go ahead and grab it. We're gonna put our hula hoop up against the wall, just like this, and then stand in the middle of it. So if you don't have a hula hoop, that's okay. Just imagine that one is there. Okay, so for the cartwheel, I will assume that you already know how to do a lunge and a handstand, and you are familiar with your favorite foot. This is gonna it's gonna be a really big thing when you do your cartwheel. So starting up again with your side up against the wall, your favorite foot should be right up against the wall. So if this is your favorite foot, you need to turn around and go to the outside. Because when you step forward, it should be the foot that's closest to the wall. Okay, I'm a righty. This is my right. This is your right. So we're gonna put our right foot in front, and you're gonna put it right in front of the hoop. So you're not gonna touch the hoop, you're just gonna put it right in front. Put your arms up. Now we do our lunge, and then we'll lean forward into our T. Hold it. Now I want you to be looking at the ground, preparing for where you put your hands. And we're gonna try to make a cartwheel sound like this. Hand, hand, foot, foot, foot. Okay, so let's try that again. And what I said there was hand, hand, foot, foot. So think about 4 seconds, or 4 different times that one hand or one foot touches the ground. So after we start in our lunge, we do a lunge, T, hand, hand, foot, foot. Now remember that rule with getting your back leg down on the ground. So check it out again, and then I'll let you practice it. When your first foot lands, so you go upside down, your first foot lands, I lift and I snap that back leg down to the ground so that I don't wobble and fall. So if you are struggling with falling over at the end of your cartwheel, let's go ahead and move this out a little bit. I want you to try this. It's a little bit harder, but typically if you try a drill that's harder than the skill becomes easier, like the cartwheel. So this time we're gonna try to land on one foot, and we're gonna try not to put the back leg down. Lunge, T, hand, hand, foot. Woo. See how long you can hold it before you put your back foot down. I have found that when you just try to hold it, even if you're only doing it for like a second, it naturally puts the back foot behind you. So let's do, however old you are, you have that many cartwheels, and whoever's watching you, make sure that they can tell you whether you're putting your hands down at the same time or putting them down at different times, which is what you want. So to clarify, one last thing on the hand, hand, foot, foot. Let me show you a cartwheel that's not a correct cartwheel. Okay, so that was like a strange round off, but it's common, so don't worry. Cartwheels are harder than they seem. Think about your legs being in a straddle the entire time, so they're never allowed to get closer together in a cartwheel. Okay? Hand, hand, foot, foot. Ready? Now if that's easy, you're gonna switch your feet, get back into position, and do it back. And switch. And do it again, that's 3. And switch. That's 4. I'll do one more, make it long. Okay. Practice some cartwheels. make them really, really slow. The slower they are, the harder they are, but that also means that you have more body control. So go ahead and practice. However old you are, do that many cartwheels. Even if you've already done them, do it again. We're back. We're gonna switch gears a little bit and move on to some dance terminology and get familiar with the basics. So go ahead and grab a hula hoop if you have one. If you don't, you can just use your imagination. But first, we're just going to review some basic positions. So let's step into the hoop. Okay, I'm gonna scoot back just a little bit. Okay, so the first position we're going to review is passe. So passe you might hear a lot. Passe and coupe are two words that are often used in similar ways. I'll show you from the side. So passe is where your toe is right at your knee. I'll show you from this side. And this side. Okay, so that is passe. Go ahead and just get familiar with the position. Try it on both legs. So you're gonna slowly take your foot, point it in the air, and slide it up your leg all the way to your knee. And say passe. Passe. And then we're gonna take it down to the ankle, and that is coupe. So down here. So passe, coupe. I'll show you on the other foot. Passe, coupe. And we can put your hands on your hips for this one, just to make sure that the rest of your body stays in a straight line. If you try to do a balance and your arms are not locked anywhere, you tend to go like that and it makes you fall. So put some imaginary glue on your hands and glue them to your sides. And we're gonna hold our passe position for 15 seconds. So let's start with our favorite foot being lifted up. So this is my favorite foot. I'm gonna point it, attach it to my leg, and then take the elevator up. And I'm gonna show you from the side as we count. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, you might have noticed that I did a couple of little turns there. If you are really familiar with this position and this is easy, go ahead and try those turns as well. Those will come into play later. So, other leg. Slide it up, locked into place. Let's count to 15. We'll count backwards. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Good job. So as you were warming that up, I was kind of showing you what you'll be doing moving forward. So we don't just do these positions so that they look pretty. You do them because that's how your body is going to be in a turn. So we did our passe, and let's go ahead and practice the same with the coupe. So coupe is a little bit easier because your leg is not so high. So let's take our foot. Pretend there's a magnet on the inside of your foot right here, and it's stuck to your ankle bone. Okay, ready? If you are able to do this, let's try it in releve. Try to go on your tippy toe and then back to flat foot. Ready? Coupe. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And switch. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ding! Good job. Okay, take a mental note. Remember the difference between passe and coupe. This will come up in your routines. It'll also come up later in this video when we do turns. So that was the turn position. Now let's start to talk about actual turns. So there are kind of two different ways that we categorize the turns. And one way is based on how many feet are on the ground. So your feet are both on the ground in a pivot turn, whereas in a quarter or half turn in passe, you are just on one foot. So let's break down all those words that are all French and put them into language we can understand. So we're first going to review a pivot turn. A pivot turn is probably the first turn you'll ever learn, but it's really important. You will use it up until the highest level in gymnastics. So for the pivot turn, let's go ahead and put one foot into our hoop and take your hands, put them on your hips. All right, so to understand a pivot turn, you have to understand relevé, which is French, and it means to lift or to be on your tippy toes. So I'll show you from the side. Put one foot in the hoop and make sure it's pointy. So don't be like, it's in the hoop. Stand up tall, point your toe, put it in the hoop. Okay, now you're gonna step forward onto your front foot and lock your back leg into place. So this is our relevé position. And your legs should be completely straight and they should be squeezed together. So you wanna squeeze everything together. We're gonna hold this position because this is really important. We're gonna try for 30 seconds. As you're trying, I'm gonna give you 2 tips. 1, find something to look at. Look in front of you. Don't look down, don't look up or to the side. All of those will throw you off balance. Find something to stare at that's directly in front of you. And secondly, to stay up, pretend like there's an invisible string lifting you to the ceiling. So as we're locked in our relevé, I'm gonna pretend like that invisible string is really, really lifting me up, and that's gonna kind of reverse the gravity. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flat feet. Good job. Okay, so that's our relevé position. Relevé, relevé, relevé. All right, so that's our position for a pivot turn. So this time we're gonna, again, have our hands on our hips, and you're gonna go step, lock. Okay, so I need to know that I can tell you to do a step, lock, and you're gonna do it, and you're not gonna fall as soon as you lock your feet together. So in order to not fall, you're gonna have to look in front of you and lift like the invisible string. Hands on your hips, 1 foot forward, step, lock. From here, we are ready to do our turn. So we're not gonna use our arms at all. We're gonna initiate the turn with your hips and your shoulders. So you won't even know how I started it, but I'm gonna turn in the direction of my back leg. And back the other way. Now I'm gonna step forward, get the other leg in front, and turn. And turn back. Okay, so you might find that this is harder than it seems. It is. With the tips I gave you earlier, find something on both walls. So if I'm starting, if I'm facing this way, I have something that I'm looking at over there, but also something to look for when I turn so that I know when to stop. It's called spotting with your eyes. You can even get like a teddy bear or something that you like to look at and put one over there. If you had 2, you could put one over there and one over there, and you know that you have to look for that item as soon as you turn. You will be shocked at how much this helps. It literally fixes your turns. Okay, so let's try a pivot turn again. I'll show you from the side and then from the front. A pivot turn always begins with a step, lock. So step, lock, pivot. Now on that one, you see how my legs were a little bit apart? That's gonna make it even harder. So when I say lock, it's step, lock. Your legs, imagine like they're actually locked together. Step, lock, pivot. Now, notice I almost fell on that one. It's natural to almost fall. We're doing things that typically you do on beam. So it is natural to fall, especially if you are on carpet. So remember to look when you're turning, and that's gonna help you both in our pivot turns and in your one leg turns. So everybody practice, however old you are, let's do that many pivot turns. And a pivot turn is just a half turn, just so you know. So this would count as 1. Step, lock, pivot. And then come down. And you can step on the other side this time. Step, you finish on releve. Okay, go ahead and practice that, and then we'll move on to one leg turns. I'll practice with you. Okay, good job. Do you feel your legs burning? If you don't, you probably weren't as high on your releve as you should have been. So make sure that you are all the way on what they call high releve. So you're not all the way up on your toes, like on the top of your toes, but you're pretty close. Okay, so that was our pivot turns. Say it out loud a few times. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Step, lock, pivot. Step, lock, pivot. See, my feet are coming apart too on carpet. It's actually really good. Once you come back to the gym, these things are going to seem so easy when you're on a floor that has a little bit more traction. Okay, good job pivot turning. For every level, let's see, level 2, 3, yeah, basically all of them, there is a pivot turn. In every compulsory balance beam routine, there is a pivot turn. So no matter what level you are, you should be able to do a pivot turn on any surface, any time of the day. Okay, so now getting back to our passe and coupe, we're going to review half turns. We'll do actually quarter turns, half turns, and eventually full turns, but let's start with a half. Half means half of a circle. So your circle is going to help because you'll be able to tell if you did a half turn or a full turn. Basically, if you start and you finish facing the same direction, that's a full turn. If you start facing this way and finish facing the wall, that's a half turn. So that's just kind of introducing you to these turns. We'll break them down now. All right, let's start in passe, just for today. So we're going to do a half turn in passe. To start, you're going to put your favorite foot in the hoop, and then you're going to take your arms and go like this. So the foot that's in front, you take that arm and pretend like you're holding a beach ball. We'll actually do it with both arms. Just pretend like you've got a big old beach ball. I'll show you from the side. Now, keep the arm that is on the good side, keep it up, and take your other arm and put it out, like this. So this is my good leg, this is my good arm. It's like I'm holding a beach ball, and then I've got a towel over this. It's like a towel rack. And when we do these turns, this is just how you prep. Make sure that your neck is long, so your shoulders shouldn't be hunched up like this, and your chin is up. Not up so that you're looking at the ceiling, just up so you look confident. And you're gonna lean to your front foot and get your back leg into passe, and then your arm comes in and completes the beach ball, and then we will lift up to releve and do a quarter turn. If we can do that, do it again. And again. And again. Okay, now, arms down, shake it out. Let's try on the other leg, just so that you understand which way to turn. So make sure that you are turning towards the outside. So if I'm standing on this leg and I'm gonna do my other leg, the outside is this way. So you're pulling the leg that's bent in and across, like that. You're not turning in the direction of the leg that's up. You're turning away from it. Practice that a few times. It does take some repetition to memorize that. Okay, so we're gonna do a step, lock into passe, wrap our arms around, and let's do a half turn this time. Half. And half. If you can finish just like this, good job! This takes a while to get. Seriously, it takes time, so don't feel discouraged if you are falling every time you try. Go slower. Remember that you need to look at something on the wall. So let's try 3 turns, half turns in passe. Step, lock, turn. Good job. 2 more. lock, turn. You did it. One more. If you do this, you can move on to full turns. Step, lock, turn. Awesome, awesome, awesome job. One quick reminder, and that is that in the middle of the turn, you should be on your tippy toe. So don't spin on a flat foot. It might work on carpet, but it can hurt your knee, and it certainly will not work on the balance beam. So if you have completed those two, and you really can stop halfway in a half turn, let's move on to full turns. But the same rules apply. So you have to be able to finish the way that you turn in order for it to count. So what that means is that I have to finish like this in order for it to count as a turn. Ready? Don't forget to look in front of you at the end. I'll demonstrate first. Step, lock, full turn. Woo! See, that's natural. It's natural, but the key is knowing how to fall. Don't catch yourself with your arms. If you're falling this way, adjust your foot so that your foot's underneath you. Don't just be like, I'm a tower, and you're gonna fall over. That's how injuries happen. Land on your feet like a cat. Okay, let's try it again. I'm gonna try to connect it a little bit this time, see if that might help me balance. Woohoo! Okay, socks make it really slippery. Really, if you have your socks on, let's take them off. You'll be shocked. Well, only if you had socks on. Aha! Yay! I did it! Not a single problem. Okay, so try that on your own. You will probably fall out of your hoop the first several times, and that's okay. We just want it to get a little bit better every time you try. So remember, I want you to try to repeat this, but don't just do it as many times as you can. Think about it every time. I'm gonna try 3. You do it with me. Okay, so I kind of held that one, but I didn't really hold it. How is yours going? I wish I could hear. I'm sure you're doing great. Take videos. This is a good time to tell you to take some videos and post them. Step, lock, turn. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Okay, sorry. All right, one more. This time I'm just gonna let it flow. Woohoo! Aren't turns fun? They really are fun once you know what to do. I will say they're hard to predict. Even top Olympic gymnasts sometimes struggle on pivot turns, which is crazy, but it's all about balance. You never just have that skill. It's never muscle memory. It always requires focus. Just for fun, I'm gonna try a 1.5. So a 1.5 means that I will be facing this wall. So I'll go around one time, and then back where I started, and then do another half circle. Woo! Turning is fun. Whoa, I'm a little bit dizzy. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and practice your turns. Please take about 30 seconds in between each turn so that you do not just face plant or back plant or side plant. Undizzy yourself before you turn again. And go ahead and practice and enjoy it, and I would love to see videos, so please have somebody take a video of your turns and show me how much they've gotten better.